California dreaming about.
Hello guys, I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're making gains like you should be. I hope you're making changes in your life, whatever area of your life or whatever thing that might be. So I hope you guys are all doing that. Thanks for tuning in again to today's video. Today's video we're going to be talking about biceps. In particular, how to get your biceps bigger, how to grow them quite fast. This is an important topic both for beginners and maybe those who have been more experienced in the fitness industry and have been going to the gym for quite a while. These are a few basic tips, but however they're sometimes overlooked and not really given proper thought, and with following these few tips and changing out your workouts a little bit, you can really make drastic improvements in your biceps and make real gains. So let's jump right into it. But probably the most number one, you have to train them. I suggest you guys train your biceps much more. Try and train them at least 3 times a week if you can. Obviously allow for adequate rest in between days, or if your biceps is too fatigued then don't train them, but make sure you're always hitting them as much as you can. Hit them both through direct workouts and indirect workouts as well. I feel that's very important. I know for myself that really helps me. I started doing biceps a lot more, learning proper form, and really hitting the bicep, and that's how I made real gains in the bicep. So I believe if you apply that, you can make real gains pretty fast. Okay, tip number 2 is to do more bicep curls. This exercise is so good. Bicep curls target the inner bicep and the long head of the bicep. When you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure you squeeze at the top of the bicep and really control the weight. Bicep curls are sort of like an isolation movement, so you want to have proper form in isolation movements. For those of you who may struggle with the straight bars, you can use an EZ bar instead, because I know sometimes a straight bar does hurt your wrist, but you want to be doing as many barbell curls as you can. It's a great exercise to add on mass because they target the long head of the bicep and the inner bicep with a wider grip. And with a more narrow grip, it targets the short head and the outer head as well. So using these variations of this exercise will allow for great results. Barbell curls and isolation movements, so you're essentially using one joint movement specifically. So you want to perform this exercise as slowly as possible. A tip when doing this exercise is to really control the weight. Keep your elbows tight and keep the same tempo when you come up and when you go down. So up slowly, up, down, back down slowly. So you want to keep everything as controlled as possible and make sure you really squeeze at the top. The type of form you don't want to be having is this one, really rocking your body, not controlling the weight at all, coming up and down so fast. You're doing nothing by doing that. Another tip is to add in more supinating exercise. Supinating essentially means when you rotate your palm all the way up to face upwards. So you come from a sort of side angle all the way to face upwards. This exercise is really good because it allows for maximum bicep contraction. It really allows for maximum growth in the brachialis, which really is activated by doing this slow rotating movement. I certainly found this exercise really useful because you have to really concentrate on what you're doing and you don't really go heavy, so you focus on going a bit lighter but focus on getting your technique spot on. And this is good because you can then have the same mindset when you're doing barbell curls, so you have the mindset of you wanting to really find the proper form, do everything slowly, and really contract all your muscle fibers and really break them down. So I advise you strongly, if you want to see massive results in your biceps as quick as possible, add in more supinating exercises. Just as important is the tempo in which you do the exercise. You want to have a good tempo. You want to have a good eccentric and concentric tempo. Concentric is when you go up, and eccentric is when you come down. So eccentric is essentially the negative. You want to really control this. A good tip is to always count 1 to 2 and keep the tempo relatively the same. Whatever tempo you decide to use, just make sure you have that same tempo on the way up and on the way back down. This is very important. My final tip is an exercise which I've seen for a while now, but I've not seen a lot of people doing. It's essentially exercise which is done with the cable and the straight bar. So you literally connect the straight bar, you sort of lean back a bit more, place your feet a fair distance in between each other, and then you literally pull the weight and squeeze. And you do this as slow as you can, or just control the tempo, but you squeeze at the top. The reason is because when you squeeze the weight and when you raise your shoulders, there tends to be more of a contraction than if you just did it when your arms were to the side. That'll be it for today, guys. Don't forget also that to get your overall arm bigger, you actually need to train your triceps. Your triceps is also a major part of your arm, so just training biceps is good. If you want to make that overall look, you have to train triceps, and that will be discussed in another video sometime in the future. So I hope you guys have found these tips useful and insightful, and maybe perhaps you can apply some of those in your workout routines to make real gains in your biceps fast.
Whipping excursion. I gotta pick up that person in the trap, whipping that working. You know a gangster, you just